If you thought the Telepathy Tapes was fascinating, wait until you see what rare books showed up in today's Museum of Tarot book haul. Bubble Wrap Heaven. All of our antique books today have a theme around telepathy, and specifically the scientific basis and testing of telepathy over the last 200 years. And the first of these books is called Thoughts Through Space by Sir Hubert Wilkins and Harold Sherman, with a subtitle of A Pioneering Adventure in Long-Distance Telepathy. The premise of this book is fascinating. That in 1937, a group of Russian aviators crashed in the Arctic, and Sir Hubert Wilkins was commissioned to lead an expedition to find them. But before he left for this expedition, he and Harold Sherman devised a plan to test long-distance telepathy between Sherman and Wilkins while he was in the Arctic. And this one is funny because the dust jacket cover says that the result was unqualified success. And as soon as I read this, I'm going to put together a video for all of you and show you what those successes actually were. And our next book is equally fascinating, but for other reasons. It's called The Natural History of a Savant by Professor Charles Richet from 1923. You can see by the front piece that it says to Dr. Lewis A. Eldridge, Jr., a savant of the Rockefeller Institute, with the compliments of Frederick T. Gates. And in case you're not familiar with the conspiracy theories that were floating around a few years ago, it was being widely speculated that Frederick T. Gates, one of the men who co-founded the Rockefeller Institute and one of the advisors to John D. Rockefeller, was Bill Gates' grandfather. And it's funny because the mainstream media flipped their shit, and all the professional debunkers, who are really just closet feds, tried very hard to discredit that theory. And they were partially correct, because Frederick T. Gates is not Bill Gates' grandfather, he's Bill Gates' great-uncle. But hey, we're not supposed to notice that shit, right? Another reason this book is very interesting is because of the subject matter. It was written by Professor Charles Richet. Richet was a very high-level physiologist and pioneer in anatomy and physiology, and he was also a winner of a Nobel Prize. And Richet spent many decades studying psychic phenomena, and one of his main theories was that the reason why exceptional people, geniuses and savants, were exceptional is that they had more psychic ability than others. Specifically, the ability to tune into and act on intuitive and creative thoughts. So it's rather interesting that a relative of Bill Gates was giving this to somebody who was a doctor at the Rockefeller Institute, calling him their savant. Don't even worry about it. Nothing suspicious there at all, kids. Now this one is something I was really looking forward to. It's called Death in the Mind by Richard Lockridge and George Estabrooks from 1945. And you might not be able to see it on the cover, but what the subtitle says is, what was the secret weapon that forced men to become traitors against their will? Well, if you watch my previous video about Dr. George Estabrooks, the co-author, and his work with the FBI and the military, you already know what that weapon was. I exposed official FBI documents that Dr. Estabrooks was working with the FBI on hypnotic mind control and Manchurian candidates in 1936. I also stated that he came out later in 1971 and admitted that he had succeeded in creating Manchurian candidates during World War II for the Marines, and this is a fictionalized version of that story. And let me read you the front piece. This is a work of fiction, and as such, deals with imaginary persons and incidents, except where the contrary is indicated. The authorities here and there referred to, for example, are entirely real, as are the scientific papers ascribed to them. It is also true that the authors have invented no scientific theories for the purposes of fiction and have described no hypnotic phenomena which have not been observed during known experiments. That's a hell of a disclaimer, so much to say that they fictionalized a version of what they were actually doing so they could put it out in the public. And this is significant because Richard Lockridge was a naval intelligence agent, and there is very good reason to believe that Estabrooks himself was also a military intelligence agent for the British and Canadians. So this one will be a fascinating read, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. And last, but certainly not least, we've got This Week magazine from 1957. And why the hell would I care about old magazines from the 1950s? Well, it's because of this specific article. in this issue of This Week magazine from February 17th, 1957. We see the following article that drops a bomb: that mental telepathy is a fact, by Dr. Gardner Murphy. The author of this article, Dr. Gardner Murphy, was no slouch. He was the head of the American Psychological Association, the APA, as well as the British Society for Psychical Research. And he worked at both Harvard and Columbia University on psychic research in the 1910s and 20s. And so much can be said about this early original research in telepathy by Murphy and others, but let me just say this. Gardner Murphy was the professor and personal mentor of Dr. George Estabrooks, while Estabrooks was coming up with his techniques to create Manchurian candidates. So with this single link, we have established a direct connection between the British Society for Psychical Research in the 1880s, on to Dr. Gardner Murphy at some of our top American universities, on to Dr. George Estabrooks and his successful experiments and work in mind control with the FBI in the 1930s, and on to military intelligence mind control projects thereafter. I have been telling you all for years that the CIA and Project Paperclip did not originate mind control research, that there is over 100 years of psychic and mind control research that started before MKUltra, that was continued on by Stanford Research and cult offshoots like the Monroe Institute. That mind control and actual successful research into telepathy is a very old phenomena, and the telepathy tapes are about 200 years too late. So if you'd like to hear what one of the fathers of mind control and psychic research was talking about in 1957, I'm going to put this full article up on the Museum of Tarot blog. Come check it out along with all of our other articles that have rare information you can't find anywhere else on the internet telling you shit you probably don't want to hear. And while you're there, check out our book reprints and some of our unique consciousness-enhancing devices based on technology that actually works. I hope this opened your eyes to the fact that the research presented in the telepathy tapes is nothing new or original, and neither were their findings, and that the only reason you don't know more about this is because it's been so well and deliberately hidden behind a wall of public ridicule for so long.